Welcome to another Beyond All Reason video, everyone. It's Jaws Munch here, and today we're going to be taking a look at a brand new map that was released, I believe, the exact day of recording this video. So this is a brand new map called Cells that just came out. It has a total of 8 positions here. It is a 20 by 20 map with yeah, it's designed for an 8v8, it would appear. I mean, you could probably do like 4v4s, 5v5s on here, but it does get quite large. So keep that in mind. The first starting zone is here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 starting zones right there. And this is actually looking to be a lane map, which is quite interesting. When I first was looking at this map, I was expecting it to be that these were the eco positions in the corner, the eco and the air position. But the more that I look at it, it would actually appear that it is a lane map similar to what you would have with Bismuth Valley or maps like that, maybe Carrot Mountain. Those are all heavily laned maps. So you'd essentially want each starting area to push forward into a lane. You know, this person probably needs to cover that whole area there. And then yeah, this is the general area of control that you'll be struggling for, I would venture. So there you have it, 8 lane map right there. Now on this map, you can see scattered across the whole entire area, there are tons and tons of these little rocks. Now these rocks are a bit deceiving because when you see all of them, you're going to be thinking, man, this must be an extremely metal rich map with all of these rocks everywhere. And whereas that is true, it does have a lot of metal on this map. These rocks are not quite, there's not quite as many as you might think, because they are quite limited in their value. You can see we have a total of 2,047 across the entire map, which isn't like a small amount, but it's not a massive amount either. They're relatively small clusters with almost no value. You know, 30 metal here, 20 metal here. It's still obviously good to have a high pressure, but there are certain maps that have a lot more density in metal. So across, you split 2,000 metal across 16 players, and it doesn't turn out to be too much, but it is something to keep an eye on because there is a lot of reclaim out there. Now these hills are going to be traversable by vehicles and bots. I do imagine that vehicles are going to be a little bit worse on this map just based on how steep these hills are. And if you're ending up having to battle upwards towards your opponent on the top of the ridge here, it could be a bit tough with vehicles without artillery pieces to aid that attack. That's just a guess. I imagine what's going to end up happening. Obviously, we haven't really seen a lot of games. We haven't seen a meta emerge with this map yet, but we likely will in the future rather quickly. So I imagine what will probably end up happening is the two teams will form a defensive line across one of these ridges, which will give them superior range with plasma weapons because of the height ability there, the height distance there, and that will enable them to get it basically make it so that it's very difficult to push to the next ridge, because with the further distance, it means that whoever is in the valley here is going to be taking a lot of hits from that excessive range and really create quite an interesting back and forth, I imagine, because if you lose one of your ridges, you can just take a strategic retreat to the next ridge, and then you have a superior range of fire upon your opponent. So I think really playing off of the ridges is going to be extremely valuable on this map, just from what I'm seeing here. Now, another thing that's important to keep in mind with this map is every single mex or metal location is 2 metal per second. And I have not found any mexes across the whole map that have more than 2 metal per second. I was looking for that. That's usually something you want to keep an eye on. And that is a significant amount of metal. I mean, because you can see here 6 metal, 7 metal not 7, 8 metal in just this starting location, and there's a lot of metal locations across the entire map. It's a very dense metal map, really. I think this could end up playing similar to what you would see with Moonshine or Roseta in the amount of metal that is collected across the team. It might not be quite as much, but it's going to be up there as well. So you're going to want to be very careful to try to spend it all as much as possible. Now, another thing that's also very important to note, and that is that the wind speed only goes up to 12 at maximum speed here, which is quite low. It's a little, think of it like this, okay? It's a little bit lower than Glitters. Glitters, I believe, has an average wind speed of around 11, maybe a little bit less, maybe 10 point something. Whereas this map is going to be an average wind speed of 9, which means that these geothermal plants, there's 2 of them. These are going to be extremely valuable. That's going to give you a massive advantage if you're able to take control of these geothermal plants and harvest the cheap energy that they will give. But the difficulty there is going to be maintaining control of those plants as well. Now, the good thing is they are in a very defensible position. You can see they have a nice hill area here you can build defenses on. And I imagine Cortex players will probably be putting Cerberus down, which are the long-range artillery geothermal upgrade that they have. And that will essentially shell anything in that area, which is really going to hurt the opponent. So if you are Cortex, get that geothermal upgrade as quick as you can. Your opponents are not going to like it. I will tell you that. The Cerberus is going to be extremely powerful on this map. I can already tell. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. I'm actually really excited to play this map. Looking at it, it looks like a fantastic time. One thing that I did think was quite unique is these kind of bridge. You can kind of see it has bridges between locations from the high ground. And this is a way that if I would honestly recommend fighting from bridge to bridge over going through the valley. Going through the valley is going to give you a disadvantage because, as I stated earlier on, you are dealing with increased height, and it is a significant height. Like, that is one thing that they did well, and that is creating a very significant height advantage without limiting traversability too much. So it's something that you have to, I think you're going to end up really having to play around on this map in particular, is that height difference. And so I would recommend probably using these pathways as much as you can and as much as is practical in order to gain ground, rather than disadvantaging yourself with the drop in distance you can fire due to the height difference there. Anyway, I'm very excited for this map. This isn't going to be a super long video because it's just kind of an introduction. I would recommend playing this as an 8v8 laned map at the moment. Maybe later on the meta will kind of shift into doing an eco position somewhere, like possibly in this corner. Who knows? It just that wherever you end up doing an eco position could end up creating a little bit of a struggle for the front line, because it's such a broad map to cover, and if your opponents go for an 8 fronts, then it could be quite difficult for your team to hold. So keep an eye on it. Let me know in the comments if you played this map, what you thought of it, and if you have noticed any metas forming already, definitely give me a heads up so I can inform those who are in my live streams and those that I have friends who play this game. So I will try to give them an update as well. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe. It helps out a ton. We're very close to 1,000 subscribers. And as promised, we will be getting out a special video for that time. I really appreciate it, and we will see you guys on the battlefield.